Hi, my name is Will Lehman, and I'm here to present today on how HEC WAT accomplishes a watershed systems-based approach. Um, in HEC WAT, we try to explicitly model watershed systems. We do that by relying on all of the different constituent parts of the watershed's water cycle, the different models, to model the entire system. So you would have an HMS model that would span the entire system. That would be able to track all of the rainfall runoff processes that would occur during a storm and bring them all into their subbasins so that the outflows of the basins make sense on a system-based level. HEC ResSim would have a river network and all of the reservoirs with their operations rules so that if something in that reservoir network were to change in state that would impact other portions of the system can respond. So for instance, we might put a fragility curve sampler on all of the dams, and if a dam reached a failure elevation, ResSim could change to run-of-river so that all of the other dams could compensate to meet the downstream objectives. HEC RAS then would have a system-wide RAS model that would be linked to that ResSim model and to the HMS model. And it would run as a system. So that way we can map the entire attenuation of the hydrograph for the event that's in question. We would be able to see how it flows throughout the watershed and how it impacts itself. So if there's a flood wave coming down one reach and a flood wave coming down another, whichever one gets there first is going to impact the second one. There's going to be a systems-based treatment of how hydraulic processes work. We do that by linking models sequentially. So here I've got the rainfall runoff feeds into something like the fragility curve sampler that samples all of the fragility curves, and then reservoir regulation, river hydraulics. And then once we have that event, we're able to compute consequence assessments. Within a nested Monte Carlo, we just do that a lot of times, and that allows us to evaluate the systems-based approach. Here's an example of the water flowing in a RAS model, and when a dam's name turns red, it's breached, and you can see that flood wave start to move through the system. As you see, Benbrook has kind of already gotten down to the main stem before Louisville and Ray Roberts did, and that affected the attenuation of the flood hydrograph associated with Louisville and Ray Roberts. All of these operate as a system and need to be treated as a system to be able to assess the impact of coincident failures or coincident levee failures if we were to have levees instead of dams. This is how HEC WAT treats the watershed as a system, or this is a way, and there are others.